Hi everyone, welcome to my presentation, Just for Laughs, Monsters Inc. and Public Testing. My name is Maggie Pendergrass. Today is August 5th of 2017. This presentation is for Communications 616, Communicating Mindfully. Today we're going to be walking through a clip of Monsters Inc. and relating it to Arnett, Fritz, and Bell's public testing with communication ethics. First of all, to kind of walk through what is public testing, within our textbook, it refers to it as both a clarity of audience and the business itself. So as a business communicator, it's important for us to be able to realize how to communicate our message, our direction, our vision clearly to our audiences and to the public. And if that message is not clear, if that message is not concise, ultimately that's going to come back and reflect poorly and will ultimately lead to a failure. When testing the marketplace, you have to understand that it is constantly changing. And with businesses, if you're unwilling to change, if you're unwilling to grow, ultimately that's going to lead to a negative impact on your business as well. Then communicating that vision to an audience is ultimately what creates a connection and a lasting connection with your audience. If you're restrictive to change, if you feel like it's not a good option for your business, ultimately you could get edged out of the marketplace and ultimately be replaced by competitors who are constantly innovating and constantly willing to engage with their audience. Next is aligning vision and action within the marketplace. So ultimately, a big part of communicating that vision is to also align it with the products that you're offering or the services that a business is offering. So with communicating that well to your audience, you also have to be focused on actually providing services that have adapted to the changing marketplace. A company without clarity of direction falls prey to atrophy and decline, unable to engage in self-critical examination and change. A direction that frames a clear plan can and must change when tested in the marketplace. End quote. The public cannot support something that they don't understand, or that they don't support, or that they don't inherently identify with. And so when companies and businesses are promoting their good, or promoting their services, promoting their products, or their vision, or their mission, and a public doesn't identify with it. So going forward into communicating the actual vision of a company or of a business, our text actually says, quote, "The successful business communicator must know that the key good for a company is its direction," end quote. So essentially, the key good that we focus on as communicators for companies or corporate businesses or anything like that, there is a focus of understanding that the vision and direction of a company is inherently the good and the focus of that company. The success of a business or a message is not based on its intention, but on the interaction with the public. Next, an example that they provide within our text, direction, like momentum, is temporary. It doesn't have a long lifespan. Ultimately, with direction, especially in a marketplace like we have currently in our culture and in our society, things are constantly changing. Things are constantly moving, and ultimately, if you're not ready to adapt to that, ultimately the business will fail. So let's go ahead and take a look at the clip.
Great job, Mikey. You filled your quota on the first kid of the day.
Not bad, huh? You know, only somebody with perfect comedic timing could produce this much energy in one shot.
Uh-huh. And the fact that laughter is 10 times more powerful than scream had nothing to do with it.
Oh, Googly Bear, come here, you.
Schmoopsy boo!
Googly.
Oh!
Girls, stop. Michael, you're such a charmer.
Hey, did you bring the magazine?
They just delivered a whole box.
Let me see it! Sully and I made the cover, right? I don't believe it.
Googly.
I'm on the cover of a magazine! Ow! Oh, this is great! Hey, Sully!
Hey, Mike. I was,
Listen, if you got a minute, there's something I want to show you. Okay? Close your eyes, follow me. Come on. No peeking.
We have seen kind of the scope of what Monsters, Inc. is as a business. We see throughout the story that the public has been convinced of certain social norms when it comes to children, when it comes to their power source, when it comes to the company itself. They've been kind of provided this message by the communicators of this company that this is what must be done. These are the rules and regulations that we have in place to keep you all safe. Ultimately, what happens is because of the transparency of the employees, Mike and Sully specifically, they actually grow to accept this new power source, which is actually a better power source. And ultimately, it helps the company succeed, as we see in this clip. The company succeeds exponentially. So after the clip, just a few things to think about. There was an understanding between the employees and with the company that this was a positive change for the better, and it ultimately was going to feed positive energy back into the company and revive it. Just like momentum, sometimes there has to be a drastic change to build a company back up and redefine the direction that a company is headed. Ultimately, the company lost direction throughout the course of the film in their negative habits, in their negative business model. When they realigned with what their mission was to provide quality and sustainable power, this was their next step. This was the change that they needed. Our text also indicates communicative responsiveness begins with a plan that meets the needs of the company and the market, a plan ever willing to shift, change, and reverse itself to meet the needs of success and excellence. Arnett, Fritz, and Bell. With that being said, I wanted to take a look at another article that I found online in regards to continuous innovation. This continuous innovation is something that's become, as I said, very popular in culture. More specifically, talking about video streaming services and video platforms. In the article, The Future of Video Platforms, Key Questions Shaping the TV and Video Industry by Gregory Gimple, he quotes Zedley, Mustafa, and Siddiqui in saying, advances in one type of consumer technology create the expectation that other offerings will provide comparable experiences, translating into demand for all firms to offer easy-to-use mobile solutions. The video entertainment industry is a complex ecosystem spanning telecommunications, media, and entertainment industries. The video sector illustrates a dynamic shift in new players and changing customer demands, force firms to adapt their business models. End quote. More specifically, we get into the point in new media where we're able to see that this is a changing and growing field. This field, I believe, is one of the easier fields to really track when it comes to continuous innovation, continuous improvement, and public testing. With the understanding that our culture and society is constantly changing, companies were expected to adapt not only streaming services, but original content to be able to compete with the growing and changing landscape of digital media. If companies did not adapt to this, they were doomed to fail. This is most widely accepted as it's been cited in many, if not all media, as it's been cited in many media journals and articles that I've seen, content is king. When companies refuse to make original content or feature popular content on their channels, ultimately what is happening is they're isolating the public. Ultimately, the public chooses in this day and age to want to have options. They want to be able to stream whatever they want, whenever they want. And if you don't provide quality content or popular content, ultimately you'll lose the trust of the public and ultimately they'll walk away. As our article states, quote, 3 critical success factors will determine the winners: availability of compelling content, ease of use in content discovery, and effectiveness in recommending content that suits the viewer's taste. In summary, when we look to public testing to be a good indicator of business and professional communications, as our text previously stated, a direction that frames a clear plan can and must change when tested in the marketplace. This direction will ultimately determine and enhance the relationship between the audience and the business and the communicator, all feeding off of one another and creating a better environment for a business to thrive. Thank you so much for listening today. I hope you enjoyed it. Again, my name is Maggie Pendergrass, and this presentation was Just for Laughs, Monsters, Inc. and Public Testing. Thank you so much and have a wonderful day.
Convergence, viral marketing. We're going guerrilla. We're taking it to the streets while keeping an eye on the street, Wall Street. I don't want to reinvent the wheel here. In other words, it is what it is. Buying paper just became fun.